Hey, YouTube family, I'm back. How's everybody doing? I'm back today to talk about the Vietnam War. And I've been doing a series on my YouTube channel. It's a new channel, mostly on military subjects. And I've been doing a series on Puerto Rican veterans. The reason being I'm Puerto Rican myself, and I decided to do a series on Puerto Ricans from the beginning of the century, the first infantry battalion all the way to the present. So I talked about their participation in World War I, World War II, the Korean War with the famous 65th Infantry Regiment, the Boricuas, and now I'm up to Vietnam, and I will continue this series to talk about their contributions in the war on terror in Iraq and Afghanistan. But the channel is dedicated to military topics. That being said, please like and subscribe. I'll greatly appreciate it. That way the channel can grow and I can come back with a little bit more content. So I can't do things by memory, so I have to take notes. And this is going to be a summary because I want to talk about, at the end of this video, if you could stay tuned, about my own experience as a Vietnam vet. Now, during the Vietnam War, thousands of Puerto Ricans from all branches of service served: Army, Air Force, Navy, and Marines. Over 48,000 Puerto Ricans served in the Vietnam War. 10,000 were from the island itself. Many came from many communities, like from New York City, New Jersey, Illinois, mainly the Chicago area, Florida, etc., and plus other states. More than 340 died in the conflict. I hate that word, conflict, folks. It wasn't no conflict. It was a war. Millions of civilians died there, and 58,000 of our troops died there. There's no conflict. It was a war. It's just like the lie that the Korean War was a police action. Anyway, 340 died in the island. Thousands were wounded. They served in all MOSs. That's what we call it in the Army, military occupational skill. Infantry, aviation, logistics, communications, medical field, engineering, and some in command roles. So, you know, they participated in all types of specialties. I want to, being that this is only a summary, I'm going to highlight a couple people that distinguish themselves. And there are many, and it's kind of unfair to them, but I wanted to make this video short. And I want to talk about Specialist Hector Santiago Colon. Born in Salinas, Puerto Rico, he died throwing himself on a grenade to save his fellow soldiers. He was awarded the Medal of Honor posthumously. The next one, which any Puerto Rican would know about this guy, especially Puerto Ricans in the island, Sergeant First Class Jorge Otero Barreto. We nicknamed him the Puerto Rican Rambo. He served in over 200 combat missions, most decorated Puerto Rican soldier of Vietnam. It is even said that, I know there's some controversy on it, that he's actually the most decorated soldier in Vietnam. He earned 32 military awards, and I'm talking about in Vietnam, which includes Silver Stars, Bronze Stars, Purple Hearts, and medals, numerous. I even heard that he was recommended for the Distinguished Service Cross and the Medal of Honor, but what became of that, who knows? It's still in the air. He passed away not so long ago, so may he rest in peace, Puerto Rican Rambo. I want to talk about Captain Humbert Roque. His nickname was Rocky Versace. Now, he was Puerto Rican, but also he was half Italian. He was an Army intelligence officer. He was posthumously awarded the Medal of Honor while resisting enemy capture and torture while a POW. According to witnesses, while he was being tortured and before they executed him, he sang "God Bless America" before being killed. I want to talk about this guy. I don't know him personally, but I remember his welcoming homecoming in Puerto Rico. I mean, they treated this guy as a hero. And the reason I know this is because I actually seen it on TV, on Puerto Rican TV. I actually came back from Vietnam during this time, and I was witnessing the parades that they gave him when he arrived on the island. His name was Staff Sergeant Félix Viander Neco. That's Neco, Quiñones. He was an army prisoner for 1,673 days. He is originally from Rio Piedras, Puerto Rico. He was captured July 16, 1968, when his truck was ambushed by the Viet Cong in Dinh Thuong province. He was the only survivor of that ambush. He was held captive for 4.5 years into his release in Operation Homecoming, February 12 of 1923 at Lac Ninh. So I remember the homecoming, and they treated this guy like a hero because of his capture. So Puerto Rican veterans return home to divided America, just like any other soldiers and Marines that came back from Vietnam, and it was a divided time in America like today. And unfortunately, they didn't support Vietnam veterans back then. They called them baby killers. They called them names. Some were protested at the airports as they arrived, even while they were coming in wounded. Some were assaulted. It was a very bad time for them. Most Vietnam veterans did not say proudly, "I served." Matter of fact, they hid the fact that they served. I remember personally being told when I was out processing not to wear my uniform. In my head, I said, "Screw you, I'm going to wear my uniform. I'm proud of my uniform. I'm proud of my service." And I came home, and I arrived in Puerto Rico. And during that time, there was a very large independence movement, which was a dangerous time for anybody in uniform. So, but I didn't care. You know, it is what it is. It was just that time in history when being a Vietnam vet was not really something to talk about. Many of these vets have became advocates, community leaders, and they always reminded of the complex identity of U.S. citizens of Puerto Rico. We always feel that we're treated in Puerto Rico as second-class citizens, and the veteran community is no different. I talked about that in other videos in the past. We were fighting for a country that didn't always fight for them. So, you know, that's what it is. But today, just like in America, there's memorials across Puerto Rico and the U.S. mainland to honor their contributions. So the attitude has changed in Puerto Rico, just like the attitude has changed in the United States, where now we honor our fighting force, we honor our veterans, and a lot of people regret the fact that they treated Vietnam veterans in a very bad way. And but, you know, that was history, and that's the way it was. So, you know, we can't change that. I will say one thing: the death rate was for Puerto Ricans, and from the island I'm talking about, 27% higher than the national average. Now, when we're talking about an island that's only 100 miles long, 35 miles wide, that's a big percentage. That the death rate is 27% higher than the national average. About my own experience in Vietnam, the only thing I can say there, you know, the average age of Vietnam veterans was 19. I was 19 when I was deployed to Vietnam. I was assigned to the 196 Light Infantry Brigade. I became automatically an AG. I was a skinny kid, naive kid, didn't know what I was getting into. And I graduated to be a machine gunner. I carried the pig, the M60, through the hot jungles of Vietnam, up and down those mountains, looking for VC, and hopefully the VC didn't find me. But, you know, I survived without a scratch, thank God. At least physically I did. Mentally, well, that's something else. We all have our own little PTSD issues. But I came home, and you know, I don't want to really go into a detail about my experience. I did write a bio about my life. If you're interested, just message me, and I could give you the link on Amazon. And I put 3 chapters of my experience in Vietnam. But I don't really talk much about it. I remember I met a Marine. Well, he was, you know, once a Marine, always a Marine. He wasn't in the service. His name was Joe Félix, and he interviewed me for a documentary called Brave Lords. It's about the Puerto Rican experience in Vietnam, and I passed his interview, and right now It's still in the process. It's been in the process for years. Why it hasn't manifested, who knows? Maybe money issues or whatever the case may be. But he put that pride in me about being proud of my military service. I used to work for a company called Goya Foods. I'm pretty sure you heard of them, the most largest Hispanic food company in the United States. And 99% of my customers did not know that I was a Vietnam vet. Did not even know I was a veteran or I served over 20 years. Why I didn't tell him, I don't know. But he put that pride in me. You know, he being a Marine, he himself served 2 combat tours in Vietnam. And he put that pride in me, and all of a sudden I started wearing my Army hat. I got my Army shirt that says Army, and I finally felt proud about being a vet. And anybody who would ask me about it, I would gladly talk to them about it. I started my Facebook groups. It's called Hispanic Veterans, Puerto Rican Veterans, and now I started this channel. So that's a brief summary of my of the Puerto Ricans in Vietnam. Please like and subscribe. I'll be greatly appreciated, and I will come back in the future in the next week or two about Puerto Rican contributions of the Gulf War and also the War on Terror, Iraq and Afghanistan. So God bless, folks. Take care, and like and subscribe.